Alright, I'm going to show you how to fillet a couple of fish. I'm going to show you how the way, if you're learning, you probably ought to do it. It'd be easier for you. This is a gutted fish. I'm going to cut the head off so I can see where I'm at whenever I start filleting. And you got to cut through that backbone, which is hard. Then I'm going to lay my knife right against the backbone, and I'm going to start down through. I go all the way through. When you get right here, everybody always wants to move their hand. Make sure you move behind your knife. And there's one fillet. Now you're going to turn it over. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So there's both of the fillets. All you have left is the little backbone. Now, by doing it that way, a clean fish, then you've got to take off this fin here, and you've got to take off the collar, which is this thing right here. So you have to go back and do it this way. Get the collar off. Then we want to take off the rib bones. There's two ways of doing this. I'll do this side this way. Lay it underneath the rib bones, angle your knife up, draw it through there, and all you'll end up with is just a little bit of meat.
Beautiful.
Now you want to leave about 5 bones up here because there's one that grows crooked. It's hard to get your knife under. So there, I've got a fillet. Now I'm going to take this backbone off. You're only going to have this on one side. That's the cartilage from the dorsal fin. So I'm going to take it off right here. Now I have a nice fillet of fish with 28 bones. There's these little pin bones that go right down here at the angle. So there's a nice one. Now that same fish, I'm going to take off these fins again. Remember, this is the one that's already clean. So this is what you got to do to get rid of these fins. The next way I'm going to show you to clean it, it's going to be quicker than this. Got off the collar. Then I want to take these rib bones off. There's 2 ways. I showed you how to put the knife underneath it. This way I'm going to lay it up underneath there, angle it up, and draw your knife right through like so. Do that about 3 times. You got all those bones off of there. I left 1 or 2 out here at the end. And there's your nice fillet of fish without a whole bunch of gouges. Pretty quick, pretty easy. Now let's do one that's not gutted. This is the way I like to do mine. I'll clean up my board here. Deb, would you put those fillets in the ice chest just so they don't get that warm? Now here's an uncleaned fish, and this is the way I like to do mine, and it's a lot quicker for me, but I've filleted quite a few of them. That's the easiest way that I just showed you. So I'm going to get rid of the fins. Take the anal fin. I'm going to lay the knife right up underneath these 2 little fins here. Cut that off. Take off the adipose, the dorsal, and I'm going to put my knife right up the middle. Cut him open. I'm going to lay my knife underneath that collar, turn it on the backbone, come down this way. Now on a small fish you got to be careful you don't cut through the backbone. Go all the way through. There's one fillet. Turn it over, put it underneath the collar like we did on the other one. Turn your knife, go like so. There's the other fillet. And by doing it this way, I can clean and fillet. I can fillet a fish 1 a minute. So pretty speedy, huh?
Wow.
So now the same thing goes on the rib bones. You got to get the ribs out. Lay your knife up underneath there. There's 2 ways of doing it. You can do it this way, angling it up, drawing your knife through, leaving just the skin. Remember, I always leave 2 or 3 of these up here on the end because there's one that grows crooked there that gets your knife all hung up. So now I have a nice clean fillet with just 28 pin bones in it. Then this other side, I'm going to take off the rib bones. I'm going to use the knife a little differently. Put it underneath here. Draw it back like so. There I have it filleted. Pretty speedy. Now, if I was going to smoke this, and that's what we're going to do, in a big chief smoker, I'm going to cut it up. Now most people cut their fish in chunks. There's nothing wrong with doing it in chunks. But I'll show you a neat way of doing it. And your fish will come out perfect every time. And you'll like the looks of this. It's the presentation that counts sometimes. So I'm going to take this piece of fish, and you see the back is a lot thicker than the belly. So the belly would get done before the back. So I'm going to take the belly off. I'm going to do a strip like this. And I know by doing this, that this next piece is the next thinnest piece. So I lay my knife in there, and I cut it off like so. There's 2 pieces with the same thickness. This last piece, I'm going to go right down the back. So I've got all my pieces are basically the same thickness. Now, and here's another thing that will make this even look better. Whenever I go to smoke this, I want to have it smoked and glazed on 3 sides. Whereas if you had a big block of fish, you just have it on the top. So it gives you a lot better presentation. It looks a lot better. But just remember, by cutting off the bellies, there's a piece. This is the absolute best of all smoked fish, is the bellies. Then you do the next piece like so. Then you go right down the middle. Now on a great big fish, you will split this up here. You'll have 2 more pieces because it'll be a lot wider. So it's ready to go into the brine or whatever you decide to cure it in. Pretty quick and easy, huh?